Ladies and gentlemen, UFC 308 occurred 2 days ago now, and after a few days of grieving my beloved Max Holloway, I finally entered the stage of acceptance and am ready to move forward with this new featherweight division era. Ilia Topuria is the man. There's no denying it anymore. There's no more calling him fake McGregor. There's no more fraud checks that are going to come. This guy's legit. The fight was great. Max Holloway did what he had to do. He was trying to keep the distance, keeping Ilia Topuria on the end of that jab, and winning a decent amount of boxing exchanges against Topuria, which was amazing because Topuria is such a technical boxer. I really thought Max was going to be using a lot more kicks in this fight than boxing, but hey, he's the best boxer in UFC, baby. Or he was. It was a really good fight. Max Holloway, great performance, but yeah, he got put into a damn cartwheel in the third round, and I shed many tears, many tears. The next fight that Ilya will be having is against Volk. I don't know if it's just me. I don't know if I really want to see this rematch. I mean, I guess I don't really know who else could fight Ilia Topuria right now. Yair Rodriguez is coming off that loss against Brian Ortega. Mavzar is already scheduled with Aljamain Sterling. And Josh Emmett and Arnold Allen they're just too low. So I mean, maybe Diego Lopez, but I feel like he needs one more fight to really put that in stone and get a title shot. Maybe he'll not even have another fight and just wait for after this fight. And maybe within that time, Diego Lopez can get another fight in and get a little more substance to his resume. Who would he fight? Diego Lopez? He would fight Max Holloway, and that would be the next matchup for Max Holloway. That would actually be an incredible matchup. It depends what Max Holloway wants to do. I could see Max Holloway doing a lot after this last fight. I could see him going back up to lightweight and doing fights against, I could see him having fights against Dan Hooker or maybe even Dustin Poirier. They'd be really fun boxing matchups. If he wants to stick in featherweight, Diego Lopez would be an incredible fight. Next up for Hamzat. Does he really need to fight anybody else other than the title holder? I don't think so. Sure, Sean Strickland has been saying all over the internet that he was promised the next title shot, but does he really deserve it? I mean, I like Sean Strickland, but that last fight against Paulo was a little underwhelming to say the least. I mean, he fought that fight how he fights every fight, just that boxing and those teep kicks. It works. It works really good, and he won, and he kind of beat the crap out of Paulo Costa. But after Hamzat finishes Robert Whitaker in round one by submission, how can you not give him a title shot? He took no damage. He took two strikes. He took two strikes. That's unbelievable. And he just did his Hamzat thing. Just tackled him and choked him out. And he broke his jaw. I've seen things all over the internet about how Hamzat hangs out with this crazy Russian soldier military head, and that's why he doesn't fight in the US anymore. So I'm just curious when and where he could fight. I mean, we know he can fight in Abu Dhabi and in the Middle East, but could he fight in South Africa where Dricus is probably going to have his next title fight? I don't know. I don't know how all that stuff works. I know Sean Strickland could, but I don't know about Hamzat. I don't know where he can go and where he can't go. We'll see what happens. I'm assuming that Sean Strickland's going to get the next title shot since he's been waiting a while and Dricus fought about 2 months ago. And I don't know how that fight's really going to go either because DDP's fighting style shouldn't work, but it does. You could say Sean Strickland won that first fight against DDP, but I don't know. Sean Strickland just peppers people the whole time, doesn't really land a bunch of big shots, and Dricus does. I mean, all he really throws is huge, sloppy shots, but when they connect, they do a lot of damage. So I'm not even going to get into who won that last fight. I don't know who's going to win this next fight if he fights Strickland. I feel like DDP could do it again. I feel like he could do it again by decision, or I feel like he could do it by knockout. Literally, he just has to have one nuke out of the 500 that he throws in a fight connect, and it can be over like that. I'm going to assume DDP is going to win the next fight against Sean Strickland, and then Hamzat is going to get to fight DDP, and we'll do his Hamzat thing, sprint at him, tackle him, and choke him out. I almost forgot to cover the Reaper. Who's the Reaper going to fight next? Either two things could happen here. One, Sean is going to get that title shot, and Robert Whitaker would fight Kyle Bahayo. Caio Bahaio is an up-and-coming prospect and great fighter from the fighting nerds who are kind of taking over the UFC right now, and it'd be a great fight and it would sell. Another fight that they could do though, which would be scary and I would be very nervous about, would be Nasruddin Imavov. I don't know what's going to happen here. There's a lot that they could give to Robert Whitaker right now, and all the options kind of make me scared. Nasruddin Imavov, Caio Bahaio. Actually, those are really the only two options. Maybe they could do another Adesanya fight, but I don't know if people really want to see Adesanya versus Whitaker 3, especially after Whitaker's coming off a loss. But Adesanya's coming off a loss too, so who knows? They could put that together. Yeah, I mean, Nasruddin Imavov or Caio Bahaio is I think they should give him Caio Bahaio. I feel like that would be the best fight to make next and one that would sell the most and would be the most fun. Not really trying to see any more choking out of Robert Whitaker, but who knows? We'll see what happens. I say give him Caio Bahaio. Okay, on to the next. Magomed Ankalaev versus Alexander Rakic. Cool fight, but we know what's coming next. Ankalaev is getting the title shot against Alex Pereira, and I think it is going to be another Magomed Ankalaev was saying all over the internet that he thinks he can knock out Alex Pereira, and with the striking that I saw, I don't see that happening. He's got good striking and he's a safe fighter, but Alex Pereira's got a really good chin. I mean, we saw it in the Khalil Roundtree fight. Khalil landed big shots, especially that big head kick. The fact that that didn't really affect Poatan that much in relation to how much it should have affected him. I don't know if Magomed Ankalaev's striking could really outdo Alex Pereira's striking or knock him out. I could see Magomed Ankalaev trying to go to the ground with Pereira, but Magomed Ankalaev isn't really known for being a crazy wrestler. Sure, he's a Dagestani, but he says it himself. He says he's a kickboxer. Now, that Dagestani wrestling does mean something, but you know who I'd compare it to? I'd compare his wrestling to Jan Blachowicz' wrestling. It's very good, but Alex Pereira's got a black belt now, I believe, through Glover Teixeira, and in that fight against Jan Blachowicz, really, he defended on the ground so well, and he got up so well. Maybe not, he was kind of down, but he still won. He won by split, maybe, or unanimous, I don't really remember, but he won. I don't think Magomed can outstrike or knock out Alex Pereira, and I don't think he can hold him on the fence or on the ground and get the decision. I think it's going to be an absolute slaughter by Alex Pereira. Alexander Rakic, on the other hand, cool fight, very good. You know who a good fight would be? Nah. Screw it. Give him Jamal Hill. I don't like Jamal Hill, but you know what? He is a good heel. But I really think he'd lose against Alexander Rakic in the striking. Alexander Rakic's striking is so good. And Jamal Hill's, I mean, he's strong, but it's not that good. It's not that good. He's such a good heel because he's the first heel that I can think of that he's not talking a big game or anything like that. He just seems like whiny. He's just like a whiny heel, which makes me dislike him. I think he kind of plays into being a whiny heel because, I mean, it's got him so much publicity and it's got a lot of people that dislike him. And like Dana White says, if people love you, that's great. If people hate you, that's also great. It wouldn't surprise me if he just took this little whiny thing, and complain about Alex Pereira, it wasn't fair. Like it wouldn't surprise me if he plays into it. But yeah, give Alexander Rakic Jamal Hill next. I think it'd be a really good striking fest. I just think Jamal Hill would lose. Let's look at his resume. He did beat Teixeira. Good fight. And he kind of beat the living snot out of him. But how old was Teixeira when that fight happened? 42? He was 43. Glover Teixeira is a dog and a legend. It was a really good fight, but he landed so many strikes on his face, and he couldn't knock out the 43-year-old Glover Teixeira. I don't know who that speaks more to, if that speaks more to Glover Teixeira's chin or if that speaks to Jamal Hill's striking, but he couldn't finish him. He went to decision with a 43-year-old man. How many punches did he land on him? Let's look. He landed 248 strikes. Now, I really don't like Jamal Hill, but I just really don't think his resume says a whole lot. I just don't think his resume says enough to say that he has a good chance at beating Rakic. Lerone Murphy. You know who Lerone Murphy should fight next? Calvin Kattar. Lerone Murphy should and probably will fight Calvin Kattar next. It'd be a great fight. They're both MMA fighters. And I don't know. I don't really have much to say about it. I just think this would be a good matchup. Dan Ige, on the other hand, you know who else I could see fighting Dan Ige next? Gian Lord Silva. Oh my goodness, Gian Lord Silva. What an exciting fighter to watch, and what an exciting prospect. He's only 27 years old, and he has already quite the resume in the UFC, but he started his UFC official career in 2024, and he has 3 victories, all KOs, except for the Drew Dober fight. That was a doctor stoppage, but it says TKO, so we're just going to call it a KO or a TKO. But he's got KOs over Charles Jourdain, Drew Dober, and Wade Wilson. Wade Wilson don't mean a whole lot, but Charles Jourdain and Drew Dober, that means a lot. And I think Gian Silva would beat the snot out of Danny Ige. I'm not going to lie. Gian Silva's such a promising prospect. He's got nasty striking. He's got great distance management. And he's got the personality for star power. I'm really excited to see what happens with Gian Silva. And I think him versus Dan Ige would be a great matchup and a great way to introduce Gian Silva into the top 15. Shara Bullet Magomedov with one of the best knockouts I've seen in a while, or coolest, most ninja knockout I've seen in a while. The double spinning back fist. What is that? That's insane. 4 wins, undefeated. I think it's time to put him in the top 15. It's time to put him in the top 15 against Michel Pereira. Oh my gosh. What a matchup this would be, and what a matchup I bet will happen. Michel Pereira fought recently, and he's going to need some time off because I think he got crap beat out of him. I didn't even see the fight, but I thought I saw pictures of his face all messed up. But an exciting striker versus an exciting striker, a ninja versus a ninja. This would be such a good introduction into the top 15 for Shara Bullet Nurmagomedov, or Magomedov. Oh yeah, no Nurma. Shara could do it. I mean, Pereira has a lot of power behind those hands, and he's so unorthodox that you never know when he's gonna just throw a backflip and hit you with his heel. Gosh, what a fun fight that would be. Shara Bullet Magomedov should fight Michel Pereira next. Ebo! Ebo! Ebo Aslan with a destruction of Rafael Siqueira. How many shots did he? I mean, he had to have landed every shot, right? And just ended him in that first round. That was pretty crazy, wasn't it? 28 strikes to 1. Gosh, that was a cool fight. Ebo Aslan's so flippin' good. He's so strong. And I mean, that speech afterwards, it was so cool. I really don't know much about the unranked light heavyweight fighters in the division right now, but just give him somebody who can. Oh, wait, I know. Hold up. Zhang Mingyang, boy. Oh my gosh. What a perfect matchup. I know Zhang Mingyang is currently scheduled for. Is it in China? Zhang Mingyang. He's on the main card. Zhang Mingyang. Tons of power in those hands, too. He's unranked. From his first performance, I would not be surprised, and I'm expecting him to beat Ozzy Diaz. I don't really know anything about Ozzy Diaz, but Zhang Mingyang is awesome. Super good, super strong, really good striking, and a lot of power behind the hands. It would be a perfect matchup for Ebo Aslan. We'll see how that fight goes, but if it goes anything like his last fight did, Zhang Mingyang's just going to finish this guy early with an explosive strike. His first fight in the UFC was against Ribeiro, and he did get touched up in the first round. I mean, he ended it the first round, but he did get touched, and it was by a big shot. So he's got a chin. I don't know if he gets touched by Ebo Aslan. Who knows what's going to happen? It would be an incredible matchup. Super fun, exciting, powerful, brutal striking versus just that. We'll see what happens, but this would be an incredible matchup for Ebo Aslan. But he's probably going to hop back in there really soon since he took no damage, and that post-fight speech was awesome. I'm guessing they're going to try to get him back in there soon, but Zhang Mingyang, fun matchup. Jeff Neal beat Rafael Dos Anjos by TKO. Poor Rafael messed up his leg. Gilbert Burns, might I say? That would be a fun fight. I think Jeff Neal would win, which is kind of a bummer because I love Gilbert Burns, but coming off that loss to Sean Brady by decision, I believe it was, and Jeff Neal coming off kind of a weird victory against Rafael Dos Anjos after he messed up his leg. He won the fight, not taking anything away from him, but I don't think we should be launching him to the top of the ranks. I think Gilbert Burns would make an incredible matchup for him. Kennedy Nzechukwu versus Chris Barnett. Another leg injury, and it happened when he was getting hyped up during his announcement. He jumped up and then messed up his leg. I don't know what part of his leg he messed up, but it must have hurt and must have gotten worse over the fight because he eventually at the end of the fight couldn't even stand on that back leg, which was his lead leg at the beginning of the fight, I do believe. He got messed up. I kind of knew this was going to happen. Not the leg injury, but that Kennedy was going to win. I thought he was ranked. All right, never mind. I thought he was ranked, but he's not. Give him somebody. We'll see what happens. Maybe a Nascimento or an Alonzo Menfield. That would be a cool fight. Give him somebody. We'll see what happens. Matt Zayas Rebecki what a friggin' fight against Mike Oilby. What a fight on both sides. This was insane. Mike Oilby got his eye frickin' exploded. What even happened there? His eye turned into a beach ball. And he definitely couldn't see out of it when that doctor came up and put the numbers in front of his face. He had the best guess in that situation that he could have had. I think the doctor put up 2. Who even knows if he even said a number? Maybe the doctor just wanted to keep watching the fight, but if he did say a number, he had to have said 2, and it had to have been a guess. And what a guess it was. The fight went to decision. It was a bloodbath, and it was such a fun fight. Mike Oilby had a lot of hype behind him. He still does. I can't wait to see him back. I don't really know who to give him next, especially since it's catchweight. I think these guys are... He's a lightweight. Yeah, I don't know. Whatever they give him, it'll be a fun fight. But yeah, that's pretty much my next fight prediction and guesses for what should happen after 308. Yeah. Rip Max Holloway. See ya.